Welcome to SaaSync. If you are a QuickBooks or Xero user, after onboarding your data, once you go to SaaSync, you will see a screen that looks like this. If you select the Manage Data tab, which will likely have an indicator, you will see a screen that's got three tabs on it: Records, Subscriptions, and Products. As a brand new user, I suggest the first thing you do is go to Products. From Products, what you'll see are all the products, or sometimes they're called items, that exist in your system. Really what is important here is to look at this column of one that says one time. What we can do is we can look through these items or products and determine if there are product codes that are always one-time charges. So that might be things like training, initial setup, etc. If you have things that are always one-time, if you go in here and select it, what that will do is that will immediately start processing transactions that use that item or product code as one-time. So that's really the first step. The next thing then is you'll go to Records, and here we can see Pending, Completed, and All. Pending records are records that come in that do not have enough necessary information to process, and so they have to be manually entered. You'll see Completed. If you have transactions that possibly had enough information or are are repeating transactions, then they may have auto processed and may already be completed and synced through to ChartMogul. A couple things here to note. This is completed. You'll see that it's got all the necessary, or had all the necessary items on it. It has a product. It has a service period in the line item description, and so that processed all the way through. The other thing to note on a completed transaction is if for some reason a transaction makes it through, whether automatically or manually, and you need to change it, you can alter it from here. So you could ignore it, or you could come in and I could change this to be a one-time and click Update, and it will change it in ChartMogul. And now we go back to Pending. This is where kind of the bulk of your effort will reside, and I've placed FAQs in the description for this video that really spend a great deal of detail talking through how you can automate this so that you don't have to manually enter transactions. That said, all your historical transactions, depending on how they were entered, they may require manual entry. And so at this point, what you would do is you come in, hopefully you're using product code, so this would automatically populate. The quantity comes from the invoice. Select whether or not it's a prorated invoice. So if it's the first invoice in a subscription, it's likely not prorated. That's, I guess, not a hard and fast rule, but likely. But an example of a proration might be somebody starts a subscription with 10 seats and then 3 weeks later adds another 5 seats. That would become a prorated invoice. So you would select prorated. You would select an existing subscription and then give it the period start and period end. And in that case, likely the period start would be the date that they added the seats. The period end would be the period end for the kind of the anchor date on that subscription, because you'd want the prorated seats to match up to the seats that were previously purchased so that they expire on the same day, or I should say renew on the same day. In this case, it's not a prorated invoice. I would come in, and if a subscription already exists, which it does, which is the 7-day, it's a weekly, I would select this. If one does not exist, you would want to start a new subscription. So I'm just going to select this, and defaults it if there is no data in the line item description as to what the dates are. It will default in the period start as the date of the invoice. So you may, depending on if invoices are created close to subscription period start, you may have to alter this, but it defaults in for the 1 week. And then I just click Save. The final tab to note here is subscriptions. What subscriptions are as invoices get sent to ChartMogul, ChartMogul creates subscriptions. And because QuickBooks and Xero don't really have the concept of subscriptions, when a user churns or cancels with you, there's no real record in those two systems that tells us that a cancellation needs sent for the subscription. So what we do is we maintain a list of all the subscriptions, and so here you can see all of them past due or canceled. Really the most important thing to pay attention to is past due, which again may have an indicator. And this doesn't necessarily mean that the subscription needs to be canceled, but it's something to keep an eye on. These are subscriptions where the last invoice and the next invoice date have kind of come and gone. So it may be possible that somebody just has a subscription that they haven't paid yet that's maybe 30 days overdue or something. But it's good to keep an eye on it, and if indeed this one February 14th of 2021, a long time ago, let's say that was actually canceled, I can come in and click Edit and go back and give it a cancellation date. Let's just say February 14th, and save that. And what that will do is then send the cancellation record to ChartMogul and churn that customer off so that you no longer see that customer in ChartMogul as being past due. So yeah, that is a quick tutorial on how to get up and going on SaaSync for QuickBooks and Xero. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us at support@saassync.com, and we'll gladly help you out.